Hi David.
How you doing?
Good, thank you.
Was that a helicopter overhead? I'm helping you in your job here.
Got a hold.
Yeah, hi David. We've been hearing about Lanzini's car crash on the A12. Can you tell us what happened and is he okay to play on Sunday?
Well, I can't tell you what happened because I wasn't there and I've only just got the information probably what you boys have got as well. Obviously the car went into a ditch or down off the road. He's sore. He's a bit sore, but he's okay.
Must have been a terrifying thing to happen.
No, it was terrible, wasn't it? I think any of us, but look, we don't want to go on too much about it. Sadly, it happens in all walks of life, so it's happened to Emmanuel, but he's okay, thankfully.
Just on the team news for Sunday then, any chance that Bowen will be back on the pitch and Soufal as well?
A chance that both of them could make it. They both did a bit of training over this international break, so there's a chance that they could both be there, but I'm not quite sure if both of them are actually ready and match fit yet, so that would be my only concern.
Does the Lyon game on Thursday then sort of affect your thinking for them playing in this game?
No, it doesn't, because we have to concentrate on this game first, but we've got a busy schedule as well, so we've got to be aware of that and try to make sure that we don't overcook any of the players, but in the same breath, we need to win the next game, and that's against Everton.
It's a special match for you, of course, for your old associations with Everton. I mean, how special is a game against Everton for you?
It was a great time in my career. I really enjoyed it. I had a brilliant period, 11.5 years at Everton. And I'm hoping that I can do something in a similar fashion here at West Ham. Trying to build the club up and get them a side who are regularly contending for Europe and being at the top end of the league. Having lots of international players, having boys who improve, who come from lower leagues and different things and keep improving. So I'm hoping in some way that we can continue that here at West Ham. But I have to say it was a really good period for me at Everton.
How would you compare with what you did there and what you're doing now at West Ham then?
I see it's been much further on here at West Ham than we were at the time. For example, when we first went in at Everton, I think that it took me longer. Fortunately, I was given the time, which time in football management is not easy. So big thanks to all the people who supported me at Everton in those early days. But I hope by the end of it, we had gone on and to be a side which, as I said earlier, was sort of more known for competing around the top end of the league.
Obviously the table's looking quite scary for them. I mean, how much danger do you think they're in, and do you think Frank's going to get them out?
I've been there with West Ham over the last few years. I know what it's like. It's not a position you want to be in. You don't enjoy it. You're looking at all the fixtures. You're looking where you can take points. Well, that's the way I looked at it when I took over at West Ham. That was the situation I was in here. So I'm sure Frank's probably doing the same. I think Everton are good enough to stay in the Premier League, and I think come the end of the season you'll probably find that. Just
finally from me, 5 subs coming in next season. Are you in favour of that?
Yeah. I have to say, about 2 years ago I wasn't in favour of it. I've certainly changed, I think, for a couple of different reasons. I think first of all is that I do think the welfare of the players and the amount of games has changed, and it's been difficult for so many clubs, and obviously still this year with the COVID and more games getting put in, it's meant that the need for extra substitution. So so I'm in favour of it.
David, hello. Now that the international break is over, do you see this as the beginning of the final push towards a place in Europe?
I do. I think that we've got about 8 Premier League games to go. We've got a couple of Europa League games to play. So it's a real good time in the season, and it's always been said, this is when you win things or you make things happen if you can.
Your home form in recent weeks has been terrific. How important is it that you maintain that over these next few games?
Really, really important, because it's I think we've got four Premier League games to go, and as I said, we've got a European tie coming up as well. But so you can only do one at a time, and we've got to try and win the next game.
You've already won at Everton this season, and as we were saying, your home form is good, and yet they have a fantastic record against West Ham when West Ham are playing at home. Is that something you ever take consideration of? It's something like
never even knew what you've told me there.
West
so
Ham
there you go.
1-1,
Never considered it.
Lost 9, but
Makes no bones. So, yeah.
One last thing. I mean, we were talking about Everton. What are you expecting from your former club?
Well, I think that we've seen Everton. Everton have had some really good performances. They had a good win against Newcastle a few weeks ago. Who Newcastle are doing well. I've seen them in other games where they'd probably be disappointed with how they've played. But that's the way the Premier League is. It's really difficult to judge. The games are tight. There's very little between a lot of the teams. So I expect Everton to come here and make it really hard for us, and it will be a tough game. We're under no illusions how hard this will be, and from our point of view, we have to try and keep winning to stay up with the teams at the top half of the league. So we've got a lot to play for. We feel as if it's more about us than it is about Everton. So I'm more concentrated on what we do here at West Ham and try and focus on keeping up with the teams near the top.
And just one very last thought, David. You're talking about Jaden Bowen and the hope that he could be fit, but you'll have to wait and see. How much of a boost would it be if he can be on the field for you during this crucial run and in terms of achieving your ambitions this season?
Well, I expect him to be on the pitch, Jared, in the coming weeks. I don't know if I can expect him to be on the pitch this week, but I can certainly expect him to be on it shortly. So he's a miss for us, but look, we've had periods when we've missed other key players and we've got through it, and we've been missing Jared for a couple of weeks now, but hopefully he's not too far away.
And get the mic back to Emma, if that's okay.
As the snow comes on. yeah.
Welcome to April.
Yeah.
David, in a busy time, do you approach it with excitement or apprehension?
I'm really excited about this period now, because I think that, and I can sense it around the dressing room as well. We've got a lot of good things going on at the moment. We were challenging, we wanted to stay in amongst the Joneses at the top, and we're hoping to do that. And look, we have to take one game at a time, but obviously we're also looking over the horizon and what might be there as well. But our focus initially, we've got to try and see if we can beat Everton at home and keeping a good position in the league.
Before the international break, you had the loss at Tottenham. I just wondered if that had any effect on morale here, any effect on your belief in what you might be able to achieve?
No, I thought that we done an awful lot of good things to Tottenham, except for in the last 5 or 6 minutes. We were 2-1 down, gave ourselves every opportunity to be in the game right to the end, but when we gave the third goal away, then that put an end to it. So apart from those minutes in the game, I thought we actually done an awful lot of good things.
You say you're going to take it one game at a time, but you've got the Lyon match coming up immediately after the game against Everton. Would you have one eye on that? Do you think your players will be thinking about that match?
I think they'll be thinking about it. Why would you not think about a quarter-final of a European competition? You should be thinking about it, but we've got a big game to deal with first, and obviously the focus for me and the team will be on Everton. We're not talking about Lyon today, or we're not looking at them in action or anything. We're only looking at Everton and what we can do to beat Everton.
How well do you know Frank Lampard?
Reasonably well. I got to know him a bit when he was Chelsea manager. I bumped into him on several occasions. I've always found him a real gentleman and an incredibly good football man. He comes from a great football family, so very knowledgeable and certainly understands the game.
As a veteran, perhaps, of the game, what advice would you offer a young manager and maybe somebody who's currently in his position?
Well, the great thing for me is to see that we're getting some young British coaches getting good jobs in the Premier League, and hopefully good jobs in the Championship and further down as well, because we want to keep promoting many. We're always keen in this country to bring in the best coaches from overseas. We hear many getting mentioned at the moment and less British managers getting mentioned, so I think it's really important people like Frank Lampard, Steven Gerrard, keep sort of pushing it through and trying to keep it going. And you're right, I'm one of the slightly older ones, but no, I still feel young, and I feel as if I can challenge them if I have to do so.
And finally, for me, there's a lot of conversation about booing of players at the moment because of what the fans booing Harry Maguire in the England game recently. And I think some managers think it's unfair, other managers are saying it's part of the game. I just wonder what your thoughts were on that.
I think if you play football or you're managing football, I think you're always going to be booed at times in your career. Or I don't agree with it, but I think that if we're in this industry, I think it's going to happen. But I disagreed with the situation in midweek. You know, the game hadn't even started. I can understand if you had played badly or you'd made poor decisions, but the game hadn't even started and you weren't making, you were getting that situation. So I disagreed with that. Thank you.
Thanks, Emma. Okay, cameras off, everyone, please.